Battle Royale ahoy! Today we have news for both Royale and Spellbreak, which are somewhat connected as well. And since these games are somewhat similar, I figured why not put them in the same video. Now, in case you missed it, Spellbreak was basically cancelled yesterday. It was announced that the game will only be running until early next year, and then the servers are shutting down, which is of course very unfortunate. Today HiRez Thor tweeted about this, and he wrote, "Super sad to see. Hopefully something comes along that can help ease the pain of a lost game. Hint, 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 hint. I know them feels, GG." He definitely knows them feels because he's been working on quite a few games that didn't survive, one of them being Gigantic, which is very much in the same field as Spellbreak as well. In a video not too long ago, I already talked about Thor now working at HiRez and working on Realm Royale to some capacity, and I speculated that there's a good chance it's about bringing the original feel of the game back and doing some sort of reboot. There were some further hints about this recently. Let's step a few days back, we go to the 22nd of June. Stuart Chisholm, the CEO of HiRez, actually posted a new profile pic, which is displaying a little statue of the chicken from Realm Royale, with a caption, "Feeling like a beat up chicken, thought I looked cute, might delete later." And just shortly after that, he posted, "Updated my wardrobe feeling saucy," with another statue, a later statue, also from Realm Royale. So he was very clearly already hinting on something for Realm Royale being in the works, and then in response to the tweet that Thor made today, Sony wrote, "Release Classic Realm Royale." In response to that, HiRez Thor and HiRez Trevor posted a few vague gifs. Now who is HiRez Trevor? HiRez Studios Vice President for Corporate Strategy and Business Development. So this is someone who, like Stu, is also pretty high up in the company, and he knows that if he posts something like that, then people are gonna take that as a hint. So we have quite a few different hints pointing at some new version of Realm Royale, and now it seems more and more likely that this is going to be a classic version. And that is absolutely what I and many others are hoping for. So that sounds pretty exciting, and of course I will keep you updated if we know more about that. But at the same time, HiRez Thor's tweet also contained this other part which may hint at him already knowing the news that will be announced later today, regarding something coming along to ease the pain of a lost game. Because a couple hours ago, VentureBeat posted an article titled "Blizzard acquires Spellbreak studio Proletariat to bolster World of Warcraft." Sounds kinda weird? Well, let's dive into the article. Blizzard Entertainment has acquired Spellbreak maker Proletariat to beef up the staff on its massively multiplayer online role-playing game World of Warcraft. Under the deal, Boston-based Proletariat will become part of Blizzard, and its team of 100 people will begin working on World of Warcraft, including the Dragonflight expansion coming later this year. Spellbreak, a Battle Royale game where wizards and witches cast spells at each other, will be sunset. The move is the biggest acquisition that Blizzard has made, at least for the past decade, to expand its studios. In this case, the mission is to beef up the staffing for World of Warcraft so that it can hit quality and timing goals for expansions. Terms of this transaction were not disclosed. A little bit later, the article also mentions that Proletariat has been working with Blizzard since May. Mike Ibarra, the president of Blizzard, also made a statement about this. "We are putting players at the forefront of everything we do, and we are working hard to both meet and exceed their expectations. A big part of caring for our teams is making sure we have the resources to produce experiences our communities will love, while giving our teams space to explore even more creative opportunities within their projects. Proletariat is a perfect fit for supporting Blizzard's mission in bringing high-quality content to our players more often." Now keep in mind, this is all happening while Blizzard is being acquired by Microsoft. So there are most certainly a lot of interesting structural changes happening. The author Dean Takahashi also talked to the CEO of Proletariat directly. He asked if the company hesitated because of Blizzard's waning reputation. He mentioned the ongoing investigation against Blizzard, the criticism of the Shadowlands expansion, and the departure of numerous well-known developers, as well as other loss of talent. The response? "We had a very kind of open and transparent conversation about this, and I think the Blizzard team recognized some of the challenges they've had. In some of the earliest conversations, we discussed just how they were looking at continuing to improve the culture and continuing to make a great place for designers to work. That was encouraging. Obviously, there's a lot of work to be done to continue to make an awesome place for developers to work, but we are pretty happy and satisfied with the direction that the teams are going. He also said it was devastating for him to go through the turmoil in the past year and hear the things that happened, but he noted that the company is changing its culture and it's not a one and done. He said you have to change your culture, you have to make sure that it's now more inclusive in your workplace. You have to make sure that the people who make WoW and the people who play WoW are well supported. He doesn't know what the Microsoft deal will change, and he says that the team is now fully focused on building World of Warcraft and they will not be working on other games. Now at this point I briefly want to move away from the article because what we hear here needs to be put into context. I don't really think that Proletariat had that much of a choice. Their game, their own game, was crumbling away and they were offered an opportunity to work with a massive company with a massive financial backing behind it, with a long history of success tainted by more recent history, and in a situation where your own company may completely struggle to survive and you don't know if you can pay your employees essentially, I think this is an opportunity that most companies would take. If you have to choose between starting from absolute zero with no guarantee that you'll even break even on your expenses, or being hired by a massive successful company that has one of the longest ongoing games in the world, then I think the choice is relatively easy to make. That's not to say that this doesn't come with significant downsides, but we'll get into those after the article. Blizzard's general manager John Hyde stated that they need to increase the frequency of new content for World of Warcraft between expansions essentially. He said, "My first conversation with Seth, the CEO of Proletariat, was back in December. I was really impressed with him, and then the team felt like he had a lot of shared values and had a lot of knowledge of World of Warcraft. The team had the ability to do stylized art, which we do, and work within medieval fantasy, which we love. And they had a lot of fans. So from there our discussions ensued." The rest of the article mostly talks about the framework surrounding it, but one thing that is also interesting that's mentioned towards the end is that Proletariat was formed by industry veterans from Insomniac, Harmonix and Turbine, and has former lead designers for Asheron Call, Lord of the Rings Online and Dungeons & Dragons Online. So while they were working on Spellbreak lately, they have quite a few people that have extensive MMO experience. Generally based on their experience and also the somewhat existing overlap between the themes of the games, I think the team from Proletariat will actually do great on World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft having a more consistent, frequent update schedule is most certainly something that would be appealing for the game, especially when it comes from fresh minds that haven't been working on the game forever and just have some new ideas that they can bring in. So this could actually be very interesting on that side of things. The big downside is that, in my opinion, Proletariat will be much more limited in what they can do with their creative potential. While I had my gripes with Spellbreak, which I talked about in yesterday's video, generally I think the game was extremely creative, tried new things, tried unique things, and just was bold in its approach. And that is something that you can do when you're making a completely new game, and you can just see if people like it or not. And that is something they could have done with their next game, and who knows what that would have been. It could have been something very creative once again, but now there will be no next game. They are now part of World of Warcraft. And in the framework of World of Warcraft, I don't believe they can be nearly as creative. The game has been existing for so long, there are so many rigid systems that can only be overthrown and overhauled so much, and there are limitations from the game being relatively old, and all of that coming together just means that I don't think we will see anything groundbreaking that is coming through this new merger. I'm of course happy to be proven wrong on this, and I think having some fresh faces within Blizzard is absolutely necessary, and if it makes World of Warcraft better, that's still great. But I still would have rather seen whatever Proletariat comes up with next, but maybe that was their only option, and the other option wouldn't have been a new game, but rather the company collapsing altogether. So maybe this was the best outcome. We will never truly know, but what I can hope for is that they will still have some freedom within Blizzard and will not get crushed by the already existing internal company structures and still have their own say in what they want to do and where they want to take the game. If you want to hear more about the reasons why I think Spellbreak fell apart, I will link a video for that right here. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you get updated for other news. And other than that, I thank you very much for watching. SLOTH, out.